This is GMC on Fox Virginia.
Transforming it into something that can tell a story about all of us.
An update on the status of the melted statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee. We'll have the latest on what the owners say they plan to do with it.
Plus, UVA was slapped with a lawsuit alleging anti-Semitism on grounds and how the administration did little or nothing to stop it. We'll have the details on the legal action. And Governor Glenn Youngkin signs bipartisan legislation meant to help improve the foster care system in the state. Good morning. Thank you for joining us for GMC on Fox Virginia at 8:01. I'm Bo Sykes. And I'm Brenna Kiefner. We'll get to your top stories in just a moment. But first, let's get a check on the Weather Authority forecast with meteorologist Delaney Tharp. We have a hot and humid day in store today.
It is going to feel like summer today. Are y'all prepared for the heat?
I'm ready. I'm excited.
Is the AC prepared? That's the question.
That is a very good question. Here's hoping everybody's air conditioning is up and running. Temperatures are already in the 60s and 70s, sitting at the 70-degree mark at Show Airport, 68 outside the CBS 19 studio. A little bit of cloud cover beginning to filter into the area. That is going to continue throughout the day, ahead of a chance for a couple of rain showers later on. 60s and 70s outside right now, 66 in Orange, in Madison, 65 in Lake Monticello, 68 in Louisa, 63 degrees in Scottsville this morning. Not too bad on the warmer side when you step out. We're expecting a pretty quick warm up throughout the day today, and we'll eventually hit the 90-degree mark by 3 o'clock this afternoon. All of that as we have the opportunity for not only the hot temperatures, but showers and thunderstorms in the area this afternoon and evening, not only today, but the next couple of days. I'll have the details on the timeline of those thunderstorms today and how much rainfall we could see within the next 2 days coming up in a little bit.
It's been 100 years since a statue of Robert E. Lee was placed in Market Street Park in Charlottesville.
And last night, those who contributed to the movement to take it down came back together to reclaim the space. Fox Virginia's Felicity Taylor reports.
I'm really proud of us for taking the opportunity to dare ourselves to be in a space that literally 100 years ago, many of us wouldn't have been welcomed in, for winning a fight that a lot of people thought we never would win.
100 years ago, a statue of Robert E. Lee was erected here in Market Street Park. 8 years ago, a petition was started to take that statue down. 3 years ago, it was taken down, and Tuesday night, the group Swords into Plowshares reclaimed and used the space. They reflected on the troubled history of Lee, the statue, and talked about the next set of history, turning the now melted Lee statue into a new public work of art.
It was a way of marking certain ostensibly public spaces as having, narratives that were seen as representative of that space and by extension of the whole community. Removing the statue and by transforming it into something that can tell a story about all of us.
Swords into Plowshares hopes to have a new artwork unveiled by 2027. At the middle of this year, they want to pick the artist. A survey is open for the public to pick where they think the future artwork should go. There is still no decision on what the artwork will be.
100 years ago, several, I can probably count on my two hands, very kind of wealthy white individuals from this community decided that they wanted a statue and they wanted it placed here. You know what I mean? And then it was kind of a top-down decision. So we're really, part of what we're doing here is we're really trying to make it a bottom-up.
Felicity Taylor, Fox Virginia News.
The Louisa County man who's being held in Turks and Caicos has pleaded guilty on 2 counts of ammunition possession. 31-year-old Tyler Wenrich is one of 5 Americans that's facing a possible prison sentence of up to 12 years. Authorities say Wenrich was found with 2 bullets in his luggage while on vacation. Earlier this week, state leaders and lawmakers pushed for his release. The judge is reportedly set to hand down Wenrich's sentence on May 28th. A man pleaded guilty to a 2023 homicide in Charlottesville court on Tuesday. Reginald Eugene Lindsay Jr. is accused of killing Danny O'Brien Hall on East Market Street on October 14th. Lindsay was originally on trial for second-degree murder, but according to the Charlottesville Commonwealth's attorney, the lack of cooperation from potential informants and witnesses led to the case being downgraded to manslaughter. Lindsay will be sentenced in September, and he faces up to 10 years in prison.
UVA and its leaders are facing a lawsuit from a first-year student alleging anti-Semitism on grounds, and the university did little to stop it. A first-year student filed a lawsuit last week alleging that the university and some groups on grounds have, quote, illegally and maliciously changed his life forever, end quote. Fox Virginia's Gretchen Stinger reports.
Over 2 weeks since the chaos broke out on UVA grounds, university officials are facing a civil action lawsuit. The plaintiff is first-year student Matan Goldstein. You can see him here at a demonstration on grounds on October 25th. He was supporting Israel in the face of pro-Palestinian protests. Goldstein is alleging that UVA officials, including President Jim Ryan, Rector Robert Hardy, Faculty for Justice in Palestine at UVA, and Students for Justice in Palestine at UVA, are responsible for the alleged harassment, discrimination, and illegal retaliation against people of the Jewish faith. The allegations include a physical assault during a pro-Palestine event on grounds, verbal abuse at the hands of student and faculty groups mentioned in the suit, continued social media posts by the groups that were meant to intimidate Jewish students. Those posts were also hung on doors of lawn rooms. In fact, Goldstein says it got so bad that he had to leave his first-year dorm room because he felt it was unsafe for him on grounds, and the university encouraged him to do so. The lawsuit goes on to claim that Ryan and Hardy, quote, did nothing to stop the problems. Fox Virginia News reached out to the University of Virginia and was told there would be no comment, but the university is against anti-Semitic behavior. There is no dollar figure listed in the suit, but Goldstein is seeking damages as decided by a jury. Gretchen Stinger, Fox Virginia News.
If you take the bus, more routes and services may be in the future for you, as the Charlottesville Area Transit is submitting a strategic plan to the state. And once that plan is complete, it will serve as a blueprint for the next 10 years. Fox Virginia's Gerwin has the story.
Adding about 30% more service.
And that's just the added amount for the first 4 years.
The recommendations are included in 3 different timeframes.
Lucas Moeller from Kimley Horn, a planning consulting company commissioned to develop a plan for Charlottesville Area Transit, or CAT, says nearly 97,000 hours of service could be added by the end of a 10-year strategic plan.
The plan is certainly meant to be flexible.
For the past 16 months, a plan has been developed to serve as a blueprint for the next 10 years. It focuses on operational and equipment requirements. Charlottesville's Director of Transit, Garland Williams, says it's an opportunity to respond to changes in demand.
It helps us to provide the state with our plans and basically lay out what we think is to be the best transit system that we can provide for this area.
The Virginia Department of Rail and Public Transportation requires transit strategic plans from all large transit agencies operating in urban areas. According to Moeller, the feedback received during public and stakeholder outreach includes requests for more frequent service and longer hours of operation.
Feedback has really been paired with some technical data on demographic data, where people are going, where people are living, how the current routes are performing, to help us assess existing conditions and chart a path forward.
Starting July 1st this year and for the following 4 years, the plan recommends updating routes, improving weekly frequencies, and continuing the implementation of MicroCat. The next 4 years, Sunday service will be reintroduced, and the last 2 years will be focused on improving frequency even more. All of this will require about 74 new buses.
CAT has committed that any replacement or expansion vehicles purchased in 2027 and beyond will be exclusively zero emission.
The recommendation strives to maximize federal, state, and regional funding sources. The plan is available for review online at catchthecat.org, and public comment is open until May 31st. The City Council will consider adopting it on June 30th. Gare Whitten, Fox Virginia News.
Bus service between Charlottesville and the Eastern Shore is expanding. The Virginia Breeze is adding a new east-west route called Tidewater Current. The new route will stretch between Harrisonburg and Virginia Beach, with stops including Charlottesville, Richmond, Williamsburg, Newport News, and Norfolk. Service will start early next year, and pricing is still being worked out. Virginia Breeze already operates multiple north-south routes across the Commonwealth.
New retail numbers for Central Virginia are inspiring cautious optimism in the first quarter of 2024. According to an analysis released by the Charlottesville Regional Chamber of Commerce, all 7 Central Virginia localities that it tracks experienced sales growth. In total, these localities collected over 4.6% more in retail sales tax compared to Q1 last year. Louisa and Albemarle counties saw the largest percentage increase, and Charlottesville, Augusta, Fluvanna, Greene, and Waynesboro showed slight growth as well. It is 8:11, and former President Trump's defense team has rested their case.
Still ahead on GMC on Fox Virginia. We'll have more on where the New York trial stands now.
Temperatures will rise in the 80s and 90s today, with showers and storms headed our way later on in the day. I'll have the details on the timeline of those storms coming up right after the break.